Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be checking out a question and answers video from Charlie Kirk titled Transgenderism, California's Collapse and Running for President. Guys, if you're ready, let's get into it.
Yeah, what's up, Charlie? I actually got 3 questions. First one is, can you say at least one positive thing about liberals?
Liberals or leftists? That's the big difference.
Liberals.
Traditional liberals believe in free speech. They're just weak, and they allow the tyranny of leftists. I will say this. I wish the right fought as hard as the left does. I will say that. I wish conservatives fought as hard as the Marxists do. I have respect for how hard they fight.
Cool. Second thing is, do you ever think it's possible to have an independent president ever in your
It's a good question. Probably not in the short term. Yeah. Probably not anytime soon. We live in a two-party state largely, but yeah.
Cool. And then final question is, will you ever consider running president?
No, I'm having way too much fun doing this, and no, and there's far more qualified people than a kid who didn't go to college and hosts 3 hours of radio. But I'm about to be 30, which comes with its own fun challenges and stuff. But I hope we have a country by the time I'm 35, but I'm not running for anything. I'm here running Turning Point USA to save the country today. So, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Charlie. First of all, I want to commend you for coming to such a left-wing campus, considering your views, so thank you for coming. But I heard you mention safe injection sites, and drug overdose is such a big issue today. And there's this meta-analysis of 75 studies that shows that it reduces overdoses, increases access to health services, and is not associated with increased crime or increased drug use. So what reasons do you have for being against it?
Do you think that San Francisco is a clean city?
So they don't have clean injection sites, I don't think, but no, I guess not.
I believe they do have injection sites.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So do you think San Francisco is a clean city?
No, I do not.
Okay. So why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I guess just a lot of crime and homelessness and whatnot.
Sure. So we have 96,700 overdoses in America right now. Off the top of my head, 72% of opioid, like 72% of all deaths for young men are opioid related. Having quote unquote safe injection sites is nothing more than subsidizing an addiction to get somebody closer to the inevitable death.
In this meta-analysis from Vancouver and Australia,
So,
it shows that it lowers.
I am positive that study says that. Post-COVID, I think any study from the major health industries that contradict what I am seeing is steaming hot garbage.
Well,
But here's my evidence. If you walk the streets of San Francisco, you will see littering of needles, feces.
Wow.
You will see homeless people that are completely addicted. And I'm going to talk more morally here, okay? If you have somebody who is addicted, is it better to further their addiction or get them help so that they can break free of that addiction? That's a moral question, not a scientific one.
You could give people help while creating safer conditions for those who are still doing it and haven't gotten help yet.
No, so that's tapering. That's a separate issue. That is not what safe injection sites are. Tapering is perfectly fine because literally if they stop using a form of opioid, they could die. Safe injection sites is the continuation of the addiction subsidized by the taxpayer because we don't have the courage to say, you are suffering under a self-inflicted addiction. We're going to get you help, but you first must take responsibility for your own actions. The problem with the premise of safe injection sites is society itself is saying, you're really a victim, and we're going to give you the needles and give you the tools. And you could walk into San Francisco at any one of their health sites, and they will give you a kit, literally a kit of syringes and needles and literally an ability to put a large rubber band, a tourniquet, thank you, around your arm to be able to find the veins that you can inject. Unsupervised, might I add you, unsupervised. That's not a matter of tapering or getting people off of it. A decent or a sane society would say, you know what? There's a lot of suffering here. Let's try to get you off of these things, not make it easier for you to continue to do drugs, which only continues the cycle of despair and death. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I can't agree less.
Hi, Charlie. Earlier you were talking about sex and gender, there only being sex, gender not existing. I was wondering, like, how you define male and female and, like, what criteria you use to define them?
Biology.
XX and XY chromosomes.
Okay. So with like intersex people then who might be born with like XX chromosomes, but they have
An exception to the rule, right?
Yeah,
So
so I
one
just-
in every 25,000 cases, yeah. But that doesn't make the rule any less true. It's like saying if you see someone with an amputated leg, you say, oh, wow, that's not normal, but you still have something normal to compare that to. It doesn't make that the rule.
Yeah, I guess, so my question is more like, if somebody then does have like XX chromosomes, but they're born with like male anatomy, or male anatomy.
So they're intersex.
Yeah, so would that person be male to you or female?
So if they're XX chromosomes with male anatomy,
Yeah.
I'm not even, how common is that?
It depends on like the specific, I think that one's Turner syndrome. So that can be like in 1 in 500 boys to like 1 in 2,500 boys.
How do you think they should identify?
I personally, in those cases, you know, like you say that there's only sex, but I personally think that those people should be able to identify how they want to identify because it's, you know, like, would you say that that's like an unclear circumstance or?
Well, I think that their chromosomes are rather clear, right?
Yeah. So
And they have
then-
displaced genitalia.
Yeah,
correct?
well, I don't, okay. But, so you would want them then to present as female, even though
Well, it's
they
not a
have-
matter of what I want them to present, it's what they are.
Yeah, so they
And,
should.
and wait, did you say 1 in 500 cases?
Yeah.
That's insanely made up, I gotta be honest. Like, that, you said 500,000 or 500?
500.
No way. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's what? Yeah, so 1 in 3,000 is more accurate. Okay.
All right, we can use 1 in 3,000. So,
Oh, just
Yeah.
a factor of 6, but yeah.
so then do you think that those people who are, you know, they have male anatomy, they should wear dresses, present feminine?
What is their hormonal makeup? I'm curious.
Those people would have like male, like testosterone. So
They would have more testosterone than estrogen.
Yeah, in those cases.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that, actually. Yeah, I'd have to
Okay.
think. I'd
The
have to think about
dominant
that.
one.
So
but
then,
but the fringe case should not dictate the rule.
well,
And that's the
yeah.
point.
But
Is
I-
that fringe cases in any scenario, whether it be rape, incest, and abortion, or intersex with trans issues, is not the heat or the heart of the debate at all. In fact, if I understand correctly, the study on intersex, again, it's somewhat of a distraction of the few fringe cases that there can be at the young age, like surgery that actually ends up helping based on the hormonal makeup. Is that not right?
I mean, I think like it's better when they're adults to have certain procedures like that done. I think it can lead to issues when it's done when they're younger, but I do think that there are.
So then if you think that, do you think anatomy has anything to do then with determining biological sex?
In like, when you say determining biological sex, do you mean like in how we define sex, or like?
Again, I'm just curious. Again, I just want to reiterate, we don't have 15% of high school girls in America that are quote-unquote non-binary because of intersex issues. We have 15% of high school girls saying they're non-binary because it's a social contagion that is infecting people that are perfectly normal and healthy with XX and XY perfectly functioning genitalia systems. That's the real issue. And so, while I acknowledge this is incredibly murky and I need to think about it, this is a rare disease to muddy the issue up that biological reality needs to continue to exist regardless of somebody's own personal imagination.
Yeah, I think so. Like from my understanding of sex, like like reproductive biologists don't necessarily use chromosomes. They use like what gametes you produce, like what sex cells, so like sperm or ova. But I don't know that.
Let me try to find some common ground here,
Yeah.
okay? So when the Biden government comes out and they say that men can take drugs to lactate and chest feed, do you think we've probably gone too far?
Yes.
I haven't seen Biden say that. So
That's okay. He didn't. His government did. But I'm just trying to find some common ground because, like, when the government says that it's, how about this? When the government calls women that are pregnant birthing people, do you think we're probably going too far?
I think I mean, this is, I'd have to ask you like more questions about what you believe because I don't know.
It's pretty simple and transparent.
Yeah,
I believe what people have believed for 5,000 years, that there's man and woman, and that you can't pretend to be something that you're not. I also believe what 99% of Americans believe. So it's really not that complex. But the fact you can't immediately answer gets right to the point of this, which is that we have this radical ideology that has infected every major part of American society. And I don't think we should be focusing on fringe issues or fringe cases when it's literally staring us in the face and it's a social contagion that is resulting in tens of thousands of people chopping off their genitalia to create irreversible damage for the rest of their life. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Personally, I don't think it's a very good idea to create sites for people that can easily help them to actually wash out their system after drug abuse or find ways and means of keeping up with the abuse of their drugs. Personally, I think it's not a good idea. So I actually side with Kirk that yes, we should rather find ways and means of helping them get out of that addiction, that system that they have to always abuse the drugs and its related side effects, and then now be looking for counter medicines or now be looking for ways and means of getting it rid out of their system or reduce its intensity or its side effects. It is not a good thing. I side with Kirk. Let's rather find ways and means of helping them get out of the drug addiction completely. It may not be 100%, but it can be better. And everyone or people that have suffered drug abuse or they were once addicted to drugs and are now free, they all have better testimonies or they all have better turning points in their life, as in because drug abuse itself does not allow you, we all know the side effects of drug abuse. It doesn't allow you to focus, doesn't allow you to do a lot of things, explore your potentials or become a better you. So
And it becomes a burden on the society.
yes,
as well.
yes. And then this this website that is teaching people how to cleanse their system and even the drugs, most of them are subsidized using taxpayers' money, and it is not a healthy thing. It becomes a burden on the society, as my sister here said.
So I equally understand the gentleman that some of these sites, and then they should be taught how to use the syringes and all that. I think I understand the fact that not everybody is willing to change from their ways when it comes to addiction. And then addiction is like a very broad topic. It's not something you just wake up one day and say that I've stopped and then that's it. It takes a gradual process. So in as much as we create a site for people to actually get back on their feet and then gradually take them out of the place, I think it's also appropriate that we equally create sites where these people can appropriately dump these items. Because he was talking about how when you roam on the streets of California, you would see a lot of syringes and all
Needles
that. Yes.
all over the
And
streets.
it's not a very good influence on the society as well, because you can just imagine somebody just used a drug and then drops it on the floor, and then it's not very healthy for the society. So I think in this case, for the right thing for them to do is possibly teach them how to dispose of some of these used items and then how to gradually come out of such
addiction,
situations instead of just creating. I think if you should create a site for them, then possibly you are encouraging people to rather practice the usage of drugs more instead of discouraging it, which becomes a burden on the society as well. So it's better for you to gradually encourage the people and then find a way around the situation instead of creating sites for them to abuse the drugs at.
Okay, so now to the next question, which was about transgenderism. It's a very sensitive one, but not too sensitive because biologically you're either a male or a female.
Yeah.
And now, with a lot of debates, a lot of opinions popping up here and there, and I think Charlie and his team are doing a great job trying to answer some of these difficult questions or very, very emotional questions. You know, it has become so emotional that people go on demonstrations that we are like this, we are like that, we are like this, allow us to have our freedom, allow us to identify as whatever we want to identify as, and all those. There's nothing really wrong until it actually begins to affect society directly or indirectly.
Yeah. So just like the gentleman said, it might be just 1 out of 3,000, and that is how it starts. Like it's a gradual process. But since oh, just like the gentleman said, it's possibly just one person out of everybody that possibly was born with both genders, and then trying to identify where exactly they belong and then to fit into the society. It might be just one person, and then we understand that that is like a medical disorder, or but Charlie Kirk's point is that for the fact that this person was born with a particular you were born uniquely, it doesn't mean that we should encourage people in the society that they should go the extreme where they actually undergo surgeries, very expensive surgeries, and then they go through a whole lot of things to actually transform from the very normal biological way that they were born to a different way. And this comes with a lot of complications that has a way of affecting the society and then causing harm to the individual as well.
Yes,
So,
and you know, most of these, as he said, some end up with permanent damages on their genitals. You know, once
and
you've
it's
closed- irreversible,
Yes.
and that is the dangerous part. Yes, later on you may want to switch, but it will be too late. So why don't you just maintain what you are? Why don't you just follow what you are? If you're a male, you identify as a male. If you're a female, you identify as a female. But to do all the rounds and then later come back to the point and realize that, oh, I want to go back, and realize that you cannot go back. No, it's irreversible. I don't think it's a very healthy one there. But, well, that's their opinion, and whatever they feel is their body, and whatever they feel like they want to do, they can. Just that we must be very careful because it has its own influences on the society in general.
Yes. So I understand Charlie Kirk for the fact that some people have identified as a particular group doesn't mean that the society should actually encourage
More
people into it. So we will possibly have to find a way of handling that situation whilst we also deal with the majority of the people who belong to the natural biological groups.
Yes, and I think he also made a point about when people are born as babies, when kids are born fresh, and they come with such complications, the doctors and then the surgeons look at what they deem fit. Okay, let's look at the genes, let's look at the various genes and see which one will best work. If it is relating to more female, they can now cut off the other genital, or they can now work around it to make sure that when you, at the end of the day, you fit perfectly into society. But here is the case, other people will also be advocating that why don't you let them grow? When they finally grow and they want to identify as this, then they now do. Which, well, that one, we'll leave it for you. What do you think about that opinion? Let's see what you have got to say about this in the comment section, and I think we'll really, really appreciate your feedback on this as well.
Sure.
Because that is a very sensitive one.
Yeah.
Should people to be allowed to grow when they have both genes, or they have both organs? Should they be allowed to grow and choose what they want, or you think doctors and surgeons can actually work around it and then decide for them? What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. So guys, we really enjoyed watching Charlie Kirk question and answers on transgenderism, California's collapse, and running for president. Yes, Charlie for president, what do you think? Let us know in the comment section, because for him, he said he doesn't really know yet. Charlie for president. That's going to be crazy, you know? That's going to be crazy, but he's doing an amazing job, and society should really, really applaud him. Big ups, Charlie. We look forward to watching more content from your Turning Point shows, because we feel and we know it is really impacting society positively. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know in the comment section what you think about these 3 opinions or these 3 points that have been shared in this video. Until next time, I'm Danny Reacts.
I'm Wil Sway, and we are your number one music freaks. See you. Bye.